What's the best ice cream topping?
Butterscotch drizzle.
Butterscotch drizzle. Okay. Does that count as a topping, though? It's like a sauce that you add on top of it, Like with chocolate Hershey's syrup.
You just said count? You add on top, which makes it a topping.
Okay, let's put sauces in a different category. How about, like sprinkles, for example? And that echelon of toppings, what's the best one?
Mochi.
Can you do that?
If you go to a frozen yogurt place, you can.
I mean, I guess anything could be a topping if you wanted it to be, right?
Yeah.
Like nuts and bolts.
I do like nuts. I love a good sundae, strawberry sundae with nuts on top. What?
I said nuts and bolts. Like I meant like screws.
What? What are you talking about?
I said anything could be a topping if you wanted it to be. So, like nails. Anyway, this is a bad joke. Yeah, ew, that was the point.
Well, you said nuts, and I was thinking about how much I love nuts on Sundays.
Yeah, nuts are good on Sundays.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with cookie dough.
That's not a topping. It already comes in the ice cream.
No, oh my god. All right.
You were just shaming me for saying butterscotch syrup, even though you literally said it's something you put on top of the ice cream.
No, that is a sauce. I am talking about small rock-like objects that go. I don't know why I keep referring to things that you wouldn't eat in ice cream, but like sprinkles, chocolate chips, that kind of thing. When you go to like a frozen yogurt place, you know what I'm talking about?
Okay, that's why I said mochi.
Yeah, no, it all makes sense now. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've got it. Let's cut to the intro. All right, welcome back to the Content Swap Podcast. You are joined by Parker and
Aaliyah.
We're still laughing about the toppings.
No, I'm laughing at how you just started this.
If you are new to the Content Swap Podcast, this is a podcast in which we assign each other a piece of content, we engage with it for the week, and then we hop back onto this podcast and we talk about it and then assign something else. And so the cycle continues. This week we have a couple of fun picks, and before we get into it, we like to provide a little life news update. It's been a couple of weeks since we've posted an episode, so happy to have you back listening to our voices.
Yeah.
Would you like to provide an update? What's up with you?
Sure. What's up with me? I've been really into athletics. I feel like is probably the best word to say. I don't want to say fitness.
Well, that sounds healthy.
But I'd say athletics. So I have been waking up early, trying to get.
Wait, why wouldn't you say fitness?
Well, I'll get to it in a second.
Okay, so you've been waking up early.
I've been waking up early. I've been trying to either get into the gym or go for a neighborhood walk. And as you all know from a few episodes back, I have been doing pole dancing classes, which is I really enjoy. It's a really fun way to get exercise. And I'm realizing for me, in order to get regular exercise, I think classes are the best way to do it because they're so much fun. And so this past 2 weeks, I have been watching the show Breakpoint, which, if you're unfamiliar with, is basically a docuseries about these up-and-coming tennis players who are just crushing it in the world of tennis and starting to knock out some of the pros that we're very used to who have always been winning. And that has really inspired me to want to take tennis lessons on top of the pole dancing classes. And so I have signed both of us up for tennis lessons.
This is true. I will be in attendance as well.
Yeah. Well, sound excited about it.
I will be in motion. No, I am excited about it.
I didn't force you to sign up.
No, I enjoy a good athletics class.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And so I feel all of that, basically, that's why I say fitness or athletics rather than fitness, because I feel I'm just very I'm very interested in trying out different sports right now. and like using that as
I
my
see,
way
I
to
see.
exercise rather than just going to the gym and like lifting weights.
Right, like we did want to go swimming or
Right.
try swimming
Right.
athletically, not just
Right.
go swimming.
Yeah. And like the great thing about being a student is our university offers all of these lessons in different kinds of
Classes,
sports.
group
Yeah,
classes,
different
sports.
sports. And so they're like, you can take swim lessons, you can take tennis lessons, pickleball lessons, racquetball lessons, table tennis lessons, like whatever you want, you can do for a very cheap price. So now that
Would table tennis be considered athletics?
I mean, it seems pretty hard.
Okay.
It seems like you'd work up a sweat, you know? Don't
Okay.
they have table tennis competitions, don't they?
That's true. Yeah, I guess it depends on how good you are.
I mean, yeah, if you're just like playing it for fun in like the dorm room or something, maybe you're not playing a sport right there. But like if you're like doing it professionally or like competing in it, then yeah, I'd consider it a sport.
All right.
Anyway, so yeah.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, it's okay. So, highly recommend that show if you haven't checked it out. It's super interesting. I'm here for Ange Jabeur. I love me some Taylor Fritz. I mean, all of
Those
them.
are tennis player names.
Yeah. What's her name? Sabalenka or something like that. I like her a lot. She's great. Yeah, there's so many tennis players I'm starting to get familiar with. And
It's called Breakpoint or Breaking Point?
Breakpoint.
Breakpoint, and it's on Netflix.
Aside from that show and my newfound interest in athletics, I have watched quite a few movies. I watched Naiad, which I was really, really excited about, really wanted to watch. I watched it without you, and you were a little sad about it.
Yeah, I was a little upset. I felt like I was very clear on wanting to watch that movie, and you watched it without me.
I'm sorry. I was feeling crappy, and I was like, you know what?
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah. So I watched it. I thought it was great. Would highly recommend if you haven't watched it already, watch it before the Oscars. Yeah, it was just a really interesting, fun movie. And like, it didn't feel long. Like, it doesn't feel like one of those Oscar movies where you're just like, it's like trying to do all this stuff. Like, it was just like it was what it was.
Well, Naiad tells the story of a woman that like swims from Cuba to Florida, right?
Yes.
And
in her like 60s.
In her 60s, right?
Yeah.
And it was directed by Elizabeth Chai Vasarely and Jimmy Chin, who are a married couple that directed Free Solo and I think it's called The Rescue. But those are both documentaries.
Yeah.
And this is like a feature film about like an athletic accomplishment, which I think is really interesting, which is why I wanted to watch it, because I'm a big Free Solo fan. I've seen it like 5 or 6 times. And yeah, I had no idea that they had even made a feature film. So, I feel like it would be less Oscars. It would be less Oscar baity and more just like focused on the person and their accomplishment themselves. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I would definitely want to watch it.
Yeah. So after watching Naiad, that kind of inspired me or made me interested in wanting.
You're gonna swim from Cuba to Florida?
Absolutely not. If anything, that movie made me be like, absolutely not.
You're gonna go compete at Wimbledon?
No. Well, that I would love to do. But no, it inspired me to watch like beachy movies. I don't know, seeing her in the ocean made me like want to watch some beach movies, and like we've had some pretty nice like sunny days lately, so I was like, oh, let me like get a little excited about summertime, warm weather, vacation, woohoo. And so I watched 3 beach related movies, and honestly, I didn't really like any of them. So
was this their first time on each movie?
Yes, it's my first time seeing each of these movies.
Okay, what were they?
So the first was Blue Crush, which, if you haven't heard about it, is about a surfer trying to like overcome her fears and make a name for herself in the surfing world.
Oh, I've seen that movie.
Yeah, it was okay. Of all the movies, beach-related movies I watched, it was probably the best one that I watched, or at least the most entertaining to me that I watched.
It like ends when she successfully rides the wave, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that one was okay.
Isn't there a part where the guy's like, hey, it's no problem, brah? And the guy's like, brah? Brah? Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that movie in a theater and I was in like 3rd grade.
It's pretty like, I feel like that's too young to see this movie.
Well,
it's got some adult scenes, I guess. The second movie I watched was called The Beach, which I had never even heard of. It came out in 2002, and it has Leonardo DiCaprio and Tilda Swinton in it. And basically, Leonardo DiCaprio like goes to this forbidden island in Thailand, like near Thailand or in Thailand. Well, I guess it wouldn't be in Thailand, but near Thailand.
Thailand?
Thailand. Yes.
Like Thailand?
Thailand.
Like Thailand is an island. That's what you sound.
Am I saying it weird?
Thailand.
Thailand.
It's not Disneyland. It's
whatever. And so yeah, he like goes to this forbidden island and basically like gets sucked into a cult kind of thing. I don't know. I was like half paying attention because I was also working while I was watching all these movies. And this one was just like a little too kooky for me. So.
I gotta say, it sounded like an interesting movie from the summary that I read. I was like, oh, I would maybe watch that.
It was kind of bad. Like, I was just like, what is this? What am I watching?
I'd be down to watch it just for the fact that it's a
bad Leo movie.
Yeah, bad Leonardo DiCaprio movie. Yes.
Yeah, maybe you'll enjoy it. I don't know. And then the last one that I watched was Beach Bum, which stars Matthew McConaughey.
That already sounds bad.
And it's basically, think of like Spring Breakers, but like not cheesy. Like
that sounds horrible.
It's basically Matthew McConaughey just like doing a bunch of drugs, drinking, sleeping around. He lives in Florida. He kind of hops around here and there, gets into a little bit of legal trouble. And yeah, he just like lives this life. And that's all you watch him do is just live this life. Snoop Dogg's in it.
Oh, okay. Well, now I'm in.
It's quite the interesting movie. And by the end of it, I was like, I kind of wish I had watched something else. Like, I feel like I just wasted my time. So yeah, that was that. Last thing I'll say, I know I have a lot here. I watched a movie Plus One, which is basically like a friends to lovers movie with Maya Erskine and Jack Quaid.
That's a new one, right?
I wouldn't say new. I mean,
oh no, I'm thinking of One Day. I think that was.
Oh yes, yeah. No, it's not that. It's an older one, but it was cute. I didn't even actually finish it. I think I had just like a few more minutes left in the movie. But, it was what it was. And, like, yeah, it was just
a romance movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're not really doing a good job of selling it, so.
I mean, like I said, all of these movies I didn't really care for except for Nyad. I even considered rewatching Nyad because I enjoyed it so much.
Wow.
I didn't.
You should watch it with me.
We can watch it.
Okay.
But yeah, the other movies, I don't know that I can really recommend it to you all, but I thought it was important to say that I watched them.
Cool.
So yeah. Anyway, what's up with you?
What is up with me? So in the past 2 weeks, my Instagram account has gone through quite a metamorphosis. So I believe last I spoke on the podcast on this specific subject, I was talking about changing my account into the content review page because we've got the Content Swap podcast, and I was like, well, I'm already writing all these reviews on my basic account on Instagram. Why not call it the Content Review page? And then I wasn't really quite feeling like review page was rolling off the tongue, and the name Content Review Guide came to mind, and I was like, oh yeah, guide. It's got a little more like, come to me. I'm a legitimate source to it. So yeah, I came up with the content review guide, and that also just kind of like really sold me on the idea of what I was trying to go for, which was an editorial print of a review with images and text together, which then evolved into like a magazine. So I created these designs for magazine covers, and I had a buddy help me pick out some fonts, and specifically for like the main content review guide portion. And I put all of my design decisions together, and I feel like it came out much better than I ever expected it to.
It looks great. It's probably like my favorite thing you've designed.
It's probably my favorite thing I've ever designed. And now that I've got the design, it's not hard for me to keep reproducing in a way that like looks nice. And it came with, honestly, like a lot of hard work in my free time outside of like, my paid work hours. I spent all my time for like 2 weeks just thinking about it. I was getting like preoccupied just thinking about like, I got to finish this design. I was obsessed with it.
Yeah. My parents were like, is Parker okay? Because we went to go visit, and they were like, is Parker okay? He's really quiet. I'm like, oh, he's just thinking about design. I'm like, he's fine.
Yeah, but it was, I hope that was worth it. Because just like I could see it in my head, and I needed to execute on it. Before all like the good ideas left me. I even bought like print issues of like 6 different magazines just to get like style ideas, and I watched a whole bunch of videos about grid systems, and I put it all together, and I was pretty satisfied with how it came out. And so I've done 2 reviews in the new style. I did Scavenger's Reign, which was a fantastic show. Highly recommend checking it out on it's on Max. It's animated. It's 12 episodes. It's great. And then I just posted a review for the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender show that was just put on Netflix, which was okay. If they make more of it, I will watch it. I just saw an article while we were waiting for our food just now. I saw an article that was making an argument that this is like the best family entertainment thing to be released in the past like decade. And when they put it like that, I was like, you know what? All right. Okay. Like, kids could watch it, and we could watch it too, and actually not have the worst time. But like live action family entertainment, And there just hasn't been good quality family entertainment. So I thought that was a good argument. I think it was on, I forget the name of the website. It's like Giant Freaking Robot or something. Honestly, when I looked at the article, it was like, this could change the world or something. I was like, what? No, like it wasn't that good. Like I thought it was all right. Like as a fan, I wasn't in love with it. But when I saw the argument for like family entertainment, I'm like, oh, okay, you know what? Like, cool. Yeah.
I mean, that's a good point, because like, what has come out that's like targeted towards like adolescents? Like I'm talking like 12, 13, and between like, let's say 8 and 13. I feel like that age group kind of gets overlooked. Like you have stuff for your tweens who are like in. What
about like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, or like every Marvel movie?
I mean, sure, but even that's like kind of complex for like, let's say like an 8-year-old. Like I'm sure. I mean, just to see superheroes fighting is like cool, whatever. But I don't know. It's like it's still, there's so much complexity still in those movies that like I feel like it would go over the heads of some kids,
Right. And then when I was 8 years old, I couldn't even get my mom to take me to go see the Pokemon movies, like those are the things I wanted to go watch.
Yeah.
But
like we had like live action Scooby-Doo when I was a kid, and it's like, that's so much fun. It's like, You know, like I feel like if I were a child looking at Marvel, I'm not making the connections between the different movies because I'm a kid, you know?
Fair enough. Yeah, I guess I can't speak to that because I was 14 when Iron Man 1 came out. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wasn't a child when the Marvel movies came out. I'm just saying if I was a child.
Right.
But
I remember when Batman Begins came out. I was like 10. Did not understand a lick of it.
yeah, like that's what I'm saying. So I'm like, I feel
it's
like
also a Christopher Nolan movie, but anyway.
I feel like there's probably not many like movies that, like, yeah, to your point, are like family friendly to where the adults enjoy and can enjoy it. The kids for sure enjoy it.
And the kids get it.
Yeah, and the kids understand it. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is like a whole show. You know, it's like 8 episodes. So I would say that would be my highest compliment to that show. But for me, as a hardcore fan of the original cartoon, it falls short on many, many, many levels. It's not bad. I wouldn't call it bad. It's just not great. So that came out. Posted a review for it on Friday. Check out the review if you want to hear more of my thoughts and see my final score. But and then I went and saw Madam Web on Friday as well, which, gotta say, what a bad movie. But I don't think. Well, no, okay. It deserves all of the hate that it's getting because it is a bad movie, but I wish more of the discourse around it wasn't so negative. Because although it's obviously a bad movie, it's like, why are you watching this movie just to hate how bad it is? Like, so when my friend and I went and saw it, we leaned our enjoyment into how bad it was, and we had a blast. But
I wonder too, like, I think a part of me wonders, like, this movie could have been a really cool concept, and it's female led. Like, there's very little female led superhero movies.
My only compliment to this movie would be that it could have been female led. I don't think the concept was cool at all. I think the concept was very bad. It's actually like very poorly put together, and the more you think about it, the more like plot holes there are, just in regards to the whole very idea of it. Like, it's when you really think about it, it's like it's atrociously bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even to that point, then, like, you have this female-led idea about kind of like a group of spider women, right?
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, you want it to, like, what's the word I'm looking for? You want to, like, do it justice, you know? And I feel like I can understand why people might really hate on it in a negative way, is because it's like, what is this garbage? Like, why are you doing this? And, like, I think you already knowing, because you already heard that the movie was bad. So
I saw the first trailer and I knew it was bad.
Yeah, like, you already going in being like, oh, this is going to be a bad movie. You can sit and enjoy it as a bad movie. But if somebody's really, you know, wanting it to be good, and they go in and they're, like, fed garbage, then it's like, this is really annoying. Like, spend the time, the energy to actually make something good, especially something that's going to be as cool as, like, having these spider women, you know?
See, here's the thing for me. Comic book superhero shows and movies have just gotten so bland that if there's a really good one, awesome. And if there's a really bad one, awesome. I would rather watch, like, a terrible Madam Web movie than watch Ant-Man Quantumania ever again. You know, like, I would watch Madam Web 20 times before I would ever watch Ant-Man Quantumania ever again, because that movie was just so middle of the road boring.
Yeah.
And Madam Web, for me, was not boring at all. I was thoroughly entertained the whole time because I was just like, it's like every 2 minutes there's like a new thing to be like, what the heck? Why? You know? And that's fun.
Yeah. I don't know. I did not go see it because I just had no interest in paying for something I already knew was going to be bad. But like, I feel like, especially with Spider-Man, we've had such good Spider-Man content for the past few years. If you're going to touch the Spider-Verse in some sort of way, you better be ready to bring it. Like, do not give me something below a 10, you know, like 10 out of 10.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Like, I mean, honestly, as soon as I heard that they were making a Madam Web movie at all, I was like, well, that's going to be terrible because I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And it sounds dumb. Mm-hmm. Like, what's Madam Web? Mm-hmm. And it is dumb.
Yeah.
Like, and the character's last name is Webb. Like,
okay.
You just know it's not going to be, there's no way it could have been good.
Oh, what? I like it. I thought I knew what this movie's about. I have no clue.
She, like, her name is Cassie Webb. She's like, my name is Cassie Webb. And immediately I'm like, well, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh. Throw it in the trash.
Gosh, yeah. No, I mean, it's bad, but it's great that it's bad. That's how I feel about it. I mean, I'm going to give it a low score when I write my review on it, but I am going to clarify, like, this was better than Ant-Man for me. I mean, I would say Ant-Man is a better movie, but
like production-wise,
it just, you know, objectively better, but subjectively, Madam Web is one of the best movies I've seen in theaters this year so far.
Goodness.
But it's bad. It's bad. I mean, it's just, but it's fun bad. I love fun bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So I saw that, and that's pretty much it for me. I'm not really playing. Haven't been very active on the gaming front. Trying to finish Prince of Persia because. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is just going to take me forever. I'm convinced I'm not even going to finish that game until the summer because it's just such a long game. And Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out this Thursday, and everything else is just going to be put on pause when that comes out because that's just like the number one game for me right now. I'm just like, I could not be more hyped to play that game. I'm a little disappointed that I've got these other games that I already started going into it coming out, but I'm like, I don't care. Those games are just, I want to finish those games. They're both great games, Prince of Persia and Like a Dragon, but Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, this is an event. This is like that if I don't finish it in a certain amount of time, there's going to be like story spoilers. And I don't want them story spoilers. So, yeah, no, I'm just really looking forward to it. I know I'm not going to have enough time to even play that. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the new Final Fantasy VII game. And aside from that, I started watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I'm about halfway through it now. I know you've already seen it, but I have been enjoying it, and I'm going to write a review on it. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. Okay, that is pretty much it for all of my updates.
I just realized I did not write a summary for Moonlight. That's okay.
You didn't You're just going to wing it?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I spent like an hour writing a carefully written summary.
I was missing something. I was like, why don't I have any notes for this? Oh, okay. That's okay.
All right. Okay. Run with it. It's 3-act structure, so just go through each one.
Yep. Good thing we watched it yesterday.
Yes.
Last night. So I watched Moonlight, which came out in what year? It was
2016.
2016. And basically this is a story about, well, it starts off with, we see child named Chiron. And
Chiron.
And he is growing up in a community that lacks a lot of resources, a little impoverished, and, there's kind of drugs circulating in the neighborhood, etc. And so it's kind of just showing him being a kid in this environment. He's getting bullied from kids in his class and his grade. His mom is struggling with substance abuse. And he ends up meeting Mahershala Ali's character named, oh my gosh, what was his name?
Juan.
So he ends up meeting Juan, and Juan is a drug dealer in the community. But he kind of takes, Chiron under his wing. He finds him kind of hiding from these bullies and is like, trying to get to know him. You're like, who are you? Where do you live? Like that sort of thing. And so Juan and his wife or partner, I don't know if they're married or not, played by Janelle Monáe, we love her. They kind of like basically provide a safe space for him because they quickly realize that his mother is abusing drugs and his home life might not be that great. So this is kind of his like young childhood. I don't know. What would you say? He's probably like 8?
Something like that.
At this point. So cut to, he's now like teenager in high school, and similarly still kind of getting bullied. And at this point, he's kind of exploring or thinking about his sexual orientation. And it kind of like makes it seem like he might like his best friend named Kevin. And him and Kevin have this experience where they kind of learn what it's like to like kiss the other person and that sort of thing. I won't get into the details.
They have an intimate moment on the beach.
They have an intimate moment.
Late at night.
Yes. And so they kind of have that experience, and you kind of see like both of them are like, whoa, like what's kind of happening? And so, they have that experience. But then shortly after, this bully in the school who keeps picking on Chiron basically tells Kevin like to like beat him up, beat Chiron up. And so Kevin, he's a teenager. He wants to fit in. This kid's a bully. So like he feels like probably that he needs to do this. And so he does. He like really like hurts him. And Chiron is clearly hurt by this because that's like his only friend. And so then you cut to again, and there's, pieces in between, but of course you can watch the movie if you want those pieces.
Well, yeah, I mean, Chiron like then hits his bully with the chair in the middle of class and then gets sent to juvie.
Yeah. So then cut to, he's now an adult, and this man, so growing up, he was like kind of like a scrawny little kid, very like lengthy, very skinny. Cut to when he's adult, he's built.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, who is this man?
He's like buffer than Superman.
Yes. I was like, goodness. And he has now moved to Atlanta. He was in Miami before. He has now moved to Atlanta. And he is now selling drugs. Juan has passed away, we learned. However, it seems like he still probably keeps in touch with Teresa, who's Janelle Monáe's character. And you see that his mother is now clean, but is living at like this residential facility. I'm assuming it's kind of like a rehab type of facility.
Mm-hmm.
And so, they have a moment of kind of like, her saying like, I'm sorry for your childhood experience, etc., and that sort of thing. And he gets a call from Kevin, and Kevin's like, hey, I thought about you. How are you doing? Like, if you're ever in town, let me know. And so Chiron decides to drive to Miami and just like has a chat with Kevin, and they kind of reconnect. And like by the end of the movie, he goes back home with Kevin, and
he goes back to Kevin's place to stay for the night.
Goes to Kevin's place to stay, and we see him like with his head on Kevin's shoulder, and it's like this like sweet moment.
Well, they have an honest conversation with each other at one point when Chiron tells him like, you're the only man to have ever touched me,
mm-hmm.
and nobody's really touched me since.
Yeah.
Or I've never touched anybody since.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of I think that was the last line of the movie. Sorry, pardon my alarm.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was like the last line of the movie. And then you see Chiron's now resting his head on Kevin's shoulder, and
yeah, and then
it cuts, and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was great. I loved the three eras of kind of his life. It was super heartbreaking, just so heartbreaking the whole time. I'm glad at the end you have that sweet moment because going through it, I was like, this poor child, this poor kid.
Yeah,
Like,
that's really rough.
oh my gosh. My heart just broke constantly. It was so sad. But I mean, overall, like I said, fantastic movie. I don't really have much else to say. So interested to hear facts. I can understand now. I mean, so when the Oscars happened and that whole like thing where they announced La La Land as Best Picture and then they're like, oops, sorry, it was Moonlight. I mean, I was like upset about it just because I was like, ugh, I knew it was like a movie with black leads. So I was like, how dare they?
Yeah.
But having seen this movie, I'm like, this does not compete with La La Land. Like the fact that La La Land was and sorry for those who really love La La Land.
Loved La La Land. Like
I hated it.
Okay. So yeah, like I watched La La Land like twice, and both times I felt like emotional by the end.
Okay,
but,
truthfully, I only saw the first like 10 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
But I hated those first 10 minutes, which is why I turned it off.
That's fair. And I mean, I enjoy music in a more I don't know, feeling it in my heart kind of way. That style of music specifically.
And I absolutely hate it.
So like I'm not big on like big like show band stuff.
Yeah.
But La La Land is great. Anyway, it gets better.
But yeah, you don't want to watch Rent?
No, God.
That's like the ultimate. I don't even like musicals, and the one musical I love is Rent.
All right, we're not talking about Rent right now.
we're
talking about Moonlight.
Yeah.
So okay, so yeah.
Now I really know now I feel like that frustration came back to me, and I was like, how dare they?
Wow.
Like Moonlight definitely deserved Best Picture. This was so good. So yeah, I just wanted to say that.
So did you know like what the movie was about before you watched it?
I knew it was a movie about a kid who like may have had a queer identity, like was exploring kind of his identity in terms of his queerness and things like that. Okay. But I didn't really know the extent to it. I didn't like I thought Mahershala Ali was going to be like a bigger character than he actually ended up being. I mean, he is an important character, but he wasn't in the like second half of the movie basically. So yeah, I didn't quite know what was going to happen, but I just knew that general overview.
Yeah. Were you feeling like tense or on edge over like things that were going to like worrying that certain things were going to happen or anything just for them to like kind of not happen, I guess?
Not really. I didn't really have expectations as I was watching about like what was going to happen. I just like, I mean, if anything, I thought, and sorry, this is like a spoiler of something that doesn't happen, but I thought maybe his mom would die and that would be like a big thing, but
yeah, why would that be a spoiler alert? We already spoiled the whole movie.
That's true. So yeah, I mean, other than that, I really didn't like have any idea as to what was going to happen with him. And then that third half or the third part of it, I think I did want a little bit more of like knowing adult Chiron. Like I feel like that part of it went really fast and not much really happened aside from like the most important part was the conversation with Kevin. And even then, like the movie ended and I was like, oh, that's it? Like that's all we're getting?
I remember feeling that way when I saw it the first time, but having watched it this second go around, like 8 years later, I was floored with this movie. I was like, this is a really good movie. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, so like the first time I watch a movie, not knowing what's going to happen in the movie, I feel like I'm watching it with like a sense of dread or anxiety over like, what tragedy might befall me or befall the characters, I should say, that I'm going to have to witness,
Yeah.
And knowing everything that was going to happen, I could really kind of like take a seat back and just like appreciate all of the little ins and outs of the movie. And for me, yeah, it's like the biggest stuff happens in the middle portion of the movie, and then when Chiron is a teenager, or I guess the anxiety producing stuff, and then that last third of the movie where he's an adult, I just knew, like, like this last portion it's just going to be a conversation between the two of them, and I loved that. I was like, there's all of the anxiety stuff is out of the way, the stressful stuff is out of the way. Now it's just like we're going to watch two grown men have this conversation. Like, it's just like good cinema to watch, just like an engaging conversation that you're like really wanting to know what's the result of this conversation going to be. Yeah. And the rest of the movie really, built up to that. No, I thought it was great. It was fantastic.
I also think like the movie poster for this movie is just so good. The casting was so good. Like the different, ages of Chiron were like perfect. It was so believable,
I will say first, when I saw it 8 years ago, I was like, that man that's not Chiron. Like, he's too buff. He doesn't look enough like the other two. Like a kid Chiron to teen Chiron. I was like, yes, that's the same person. But then teen Chiron to adult Chiron is like a bit of a leap. I will say the second time watching it. So. Well, no, the second time watching it now, I was like, oh no, I can believe that's him.
Yeah, I mean,
but the first time I was
seen
like,
people who were very like scrawny kids, and they're built now. Like they widen out,
Yeah,
and, like,
I mean, I was
getting more mass.
I was a really scrawny kid in high school.
Yeah.
And now I'm like 185 pounds. So.
Yeah, but I don't know. I thought they did a great job. I mean, as much as you can when you're casting, because I'm sure it's super hard when you're doing this kind of timeline approach, to find three people that kind of fit together. So as much as they could do it, I thought they did a great job.
Yeah, and it was not just him; it was Kevin too.
Yeah, I thought they did good with that too.
Yep. Naomi Harris is the only person in this movie to be in all three acts. Or she's the only actor to be in all three acts of the movie.
Was Janelle Monáe not?
No, she wasn't in the third act.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
You want to hear some more fun facts?
Yeah.
Naomi Harris shot her role in 3 days.
What?
Yeah.
I know she was exhausted after those 3 days. Because she had some of the most like emotionally charged moments.
She did. So she shot her role in 3 days in the middle of her promo tour for Spectre, the James Bond movie.
Yeah. Because
of a visa problem. So she was in the States for Spectre promo and knocked out a role in 3 days for Moonlight. And she got a Best Supporting Actress nomination.
Oh, she should have won.
I forget who she was against. I can check later. So I'll go through the Oscar nominations real quick. So the movie was nominated for 8 Oscars. Mm-hmm. It won 3 of them. Mm-hmm. So it won for Best Picture, as we all know. Mm-hmm. Best Supporting Actor, Mahershala Ali, with less than 20 minutes of screen time, got the Best Supporting Actor Oscar for this movie.
Yeah, it's like he really doesn't do much, but how meaningful he is.
He's great.
Yeah, it's like everything about his character is so meaningful to this boy that we're watching grow up, and so it's just like his like small performance is so impactful.
Love Mahershala.
Yep.
Best Adapted Screenplay, it also won for.
Nice.
The other categories that it was nominated in, as I said, Best Supporting Actress for Naomi Harris, Best Director for Barry Jenkins, Best Cinematography, Best Editing, and Best Original Score. So, other fun facts. Well, I guess not all of them are fun, but so the director, Barry Jenkins, he actually grew up in the Liberty City area of Miami where this movie was filmed. Mm-hmm. They said that about 80% of the film was shot there, which The crew was initially apprehensive about safety filming there because it is one of the most poverty-stricken areas of America. But once word got out that Barry Jenkins was from there, everybody kind of eased up. The locals were also extremely welcoming to them filming there. And Naomi Harris said that she'd never felt more comfortable on a set.
Nice.
Barry Jenkins's mom, it seems like, although Barry Jenkins is not gay, and one of the writers for the movie is, but like Barry Jenkins's mom also like was an addict, very much like Chiron's mother was. So it's almost like it's like an amalgamation of him and the other writers' like experience together in the form of a film. So there's a scene where young Chiron, when he's at his youngest in this movie, he goes to the beach with Juan, Mahershala Ali, and Juan is teaching Chiron how to swim. Well, it's actually Mahershala teaching Alex Hibbert, the actor, how to swim because he didn't know how to swim. So
nice.
Makes it more authentic. Yeah. What else do I have in here? This, adjusting for inflation, it has the lowest budget of any Best Picture winner at $1.5 million.
Wow.
Yeah. Rocky was filmed with $1.1 million in 1976, but yeah, just for inflation, it's going to be a bit higher.
Yeah.
So yeah, the movie, it really like got the funding it needed from having an early meeting with Brad Pitt to help produce the movie.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I remember
Brad Pitt shows up in the most random places.
I know, you'll just see his name as a producer, right. like Lego Masters. Brad Pitt. You're like, well, okay. Moonlight. Brad Pitt. Oh, all right. He's got a diverse portfolio, Brad Pitt. So yeah, because the budget was so low, $1.5 million, the whole cast and crew shared one trailer and one bathroom stall. So,
oh my gosh.
Yep.
I'm cool with the trailer, but one bathroom.
Yep. It's like hair and makeup pretty much was all in that trailer, you know.
Yeah.
The film was filmed in 25 days.
Wow.
In the month of October. Yep. The film is based on an unproduced play called In Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue by MacArthur Fellow Terrell Alvin McCraney.
That was their whole name?
Well, MacArthur Fellow, like MacArthur being... They are a fellow of MacArthur.
I kind of like zoned out a little bit.
No,
I was like, wait, was that one name?
Nah, I know. I was looking at like 5 proper nouns, and I was like... halfway through fellow, I was like realizing that MacArthur was not the first name, and I'd like switch my intonation, you know, MacArthur Fellow, gotcha. Terrell Alvin McCraney. Yeah.
I thought you were like MacArthur Fellow Terrell. I was like, what?
No,
like, what a name.
No. Okay. Barry Jenkins, the director, was the only the 4th black director nominated for an Oscar.
Ugh, that's so sad.
Yep. So he was the 4th, but in total there have been 6. So
is Spike Lee one of them?
Yes, but not for what you would think. Like, people thought he was going to get nominated for Do the Right Thing back in like 1989.
BlacKkKlansman?
It was for BlacKkKlansman, yes.
I knew it.
So the 6 black directors that have been nominated for Best Director are John Singleton for Boys in the Hood in 1991. Okay. Lee Daniels for Precious. I was just about to say
Lee Daniels has to be one of them.
Yep. But like 1991 all the way to 2009, like that's a really big gap.
Yeah.
Steve McQueen for 12 Years a Slave in 2013. Mm-hmm. Barry Jenkins, Moonlight 2016. Jordan Peele, Get Out 2017. And then Spike Lee, BlacKkKlansman 2018. So 16, 17, 18, 3 years in a row. But a black director has not been nominated since Spike Lee in 2018. It's kind of sad. So
wait, was Ryan Coogler not nominated for like?
Nope.
What?
For what? Black Panther?
Yeah.
Nope.
Dang.
Black Panther was nominated for Best Picture, but
Not Ryan Coogler.
Not Ryan Coogler. No. And yes, famously, this movie did win Best Picture after it was incorrectly announced that La La Land had won, and I gotta tell you, that was one of the most insane things I had ever seen on live television. How about you? Like
more than the Will Smith slap.
Well, see, this is what I'm saying. Like you see some of the best things watching the Oscars live. It's like you see Will Smith slap Chris Rock in front of the whole world.
I don't mean
and
to
you're
laugh.
like, and you're checking Twitter, and you're just like,
Like,
what just happened?
Like, is that a bit? Was that real?
Right.
What's going on?
I love watching the Oscars. Oh man,
they've been pretty fun lately.
yeah.
I'm like, I hope some shenanigans happens this time.
Right, for real. And then last fun fact is that this was A24's first Best Picture winner.
Nice. This year, A24 is on it. Oh my gosh, they've done everything.
They've literally taken over the whole artistic side of the industry.
Which I'm here for it, because they just come out with some really great stuff.
Yeah.
Some very innovative, very new, very fresh, like, pieces of work.
Yeah, and it's like, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who started A24?
I don't know, but for the fact that it started with Spring Breakers blows my mind.
Hey, I love me some Spring Breakers.
Spring Breakers to Moonlight. That was just like a 3-year portion of time.
Yeah.
You know? What's A24 come out with this year?
Everything has been. Wasn't Zone of Interest A24?
Was it?
I think it was. I think it was. Poor Things is A24, isn't it?
Well, that was absolutely Poor Things was
think
A24.
Zone of Interest
That's got
is
A24 written all over it. Wild.
Hold on, I'm gonna look up Zone of Interest.
Okay. Well, those are all my facts. Do you have any other thoughts on...
Zone of Interest is A24.
That's... Okay, so they really have taken over the entire artistic side of the industry. Wow.
Everything Everywhere All at Once was A24.
Yeah, I remember that. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy.
Yep. Naomi Harris was up against... Oof. She lost to Viola Davis. Fences. Yeah.
I haven't seen Fences.
I haven't seen Fences either, but I've seen clips of Viola Davis's performance. She's like... Oh my God. She's like crying. She's got snot coming out of her face.
Do you remember that TikTok that was making fun of the clips that they show for the Oscars? And like how the actors look when it like pans over to them and they show the clip. That cracks me up every time. It's always a crying clip.
Yeah.
It's always a screaming clip or like a really quiet clip of like some sort of sentence or whatever.
I remember Honest Trailers did a because they do an Honest Trailer for the Oscars every single year, and I remember they were like, this year was a combination of like fantastic acting, and then they like show somebody acting, and then they're like not acting, and it's like Emma Stone singing or something, and then it's like and snot acting, and it's like Viola Davis like I sacrifice things too.
Oh my goodness.
She got snot coming out of her face.
I mean, go ahead, girl.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure she did.
Yeah,
a fantastic job.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, those are all my facts.
Cool. Great. Let's move on.
Yes, we shall. I realize that means I have to do a bunch more talking. I'm going to take a sip of water, and I will get to that. Fill the air.
Fill the air. I shall take the air. Hold on. I'm going to look at A24 movies that came out this year.
Okay, so I was assigned Deliver Us From Eva. This is a film that came out in 2003. I thought it was called Better Late Than Eva.
Oh yeah. I was like, what?
I was like, when are we gonna watch Better Late Than Eva?
Silly.
So Deliver Us From Eva follows a family of 4 sisters whose parents died when they were all young, and the oldest sister, Eva, played by Gabrielle Union, had to grow up a bit sooner than the rest of them to make sure that all of her sisters would be taken care of. So the 3 younger sisters all have boyfriends or husbands, and these 3 guys that are dating these sisters love to hang out together. They watch football together. They go to the bar together. Seems like they're always hanging out with each other or trying to spend time with their respective partners. But the issue is that the older sister, Eva, has a lot of control over her sisters. So these men, they'll be having conversations about moving in together with their partner or having a baby with their partner. And their partner will say something like, but Eva says we don't need to cohabitate. Or, but Eva says most marriages fail within 5 years and we've been together for 3, so we can't have a baby yet. It gets to the point where these men are so frustrated because Eva seems to be controlling everything. She seems to be controlling their lives too. So Eva herself, she is a health inspector who takes her job and her sisters very seriously. In fact, she's so serious that she's kind of a nightmare to be around. Knowing this, the 3 men decide that all Eva needs in order to chill out is a man.
What? What?
Enter LL Cool J. He plays a smooth-talking player named Ray. The 3 men bump into him at the bar one night, and he is in the middle of convincing 2 women who just found out that they are both dating him he's convincing them to be cool with the fact that they're both dating him at the same time. And they all walk off together. And so these men, they're like, okay, guys, if anybody's going to find a way to break through to Eva, it's got to be this guy, right? So the 3 men essentially bribe Ray to take Eva out for a while, and when the moment's right, cut himself off from her completely, which is a totally messed up plan, and I don't recommend you do it.
No.
So Ray's not down with it at first, but one day after Eva comes in to inspect a restaurant that he was delivering meats to, he witnesses firsthand just how hardcore of a health inspector she is and how much of a soul she lacks, that he's like, all right, bet, I'll do it. Like, this is going to be crazy. So from there, he turns on all the charm. Oh my God. He meets Eva and somehow manages to break through to her cold, cold heart. And eventually they both begin to really connect with each other. And suddenly the 3 men are able to spend some quality time with their ladies because Eva is so preoccupied with Ray. Mission accomplished. However, Ray, he begins to realize, I really like this girl. And he doesn't want to be a player anymore. He likes this woman so much. She's got him riding horses, okay? And
riding is not what was happening. He was flailing on a horse.
He was flailing on a horse, and that poor horse is lucky it did not break its back.
Literally.
This large, heavy man bouncing up and down on its back while it's running. So Eva starts to really like Ray as well, to the point where she gets offered an amazing promotion that'll require her to relocate to Chicago. And she wants to turn it down so she can stay with Ray. And the 2 are becoming such a good couple that Eva's sisters, well, they begin to take notice of all the nice things that Ray does for Eva. So suddenly, they start holding their men to a higher standard. So now these men, these crusty men, decide this is a huge problem. Now, the expectations are through the roof. And Eva would have moved away forever, but now she's staying? And all of this is because of Ray? Well, clearly, Ray has got to go. So, what do these men do?
The most logical thing possible.
Yes. Listener, think to yourself, what? If you were in this situation, what would you do? I will give you a second. Okay? What would you do? All right, so kidnap Ray and fake his death was your first thought, right? Of course.
What a dumb idea.
It's so obvious. Yes, obviously. So rather than reflect on their behavior, these men decide they're going to kidnap Ray, they're going to lock him up in a warehouse, and they're going to tell everyone that he's dead. Then what has to be like the next day, they stage his funeral, and Ray eventually, like, he breaks himself out from the warehouse and he shows up to his own funeral, which, I mean, like, you know, that's got to be the best funeral ever to attend.
The way I would be screaming.
So Ray, he fesses up everything to Eva at his funeral, tells her he was paid to go out with her. She's furious. The sisters are furious at their husbands/boyfriends. It's not looking good for the men, as it shouldn't be. But the movie's almost over, so to wrap it all up quickly, there's this whole bit where Eva tells the men that her sisters love them, so they're all good. And then she takes the job in Chicago. And at some point, Ray rides into her place of work on the back of a horse and pronounces, "Eva, I love you. I bought you this horse. I'm literally going to visit your work every day until you take me back." And she's like, "Oh, wow, a horse. Okay, I love you." And they live happily ever after. I mean, tell me that's not what happens.
That's exactly what happens.
I mean, I made it sound much more dumb than it I mean, it is dumb, but
yeah,
it's like, it's fun, and it's portrayed on the more authentic side, I guess. Like, it's portrayed in a way that you don't question, you know, like, yeah, I'm going to show up at your work every day and yada, yada, yada. Like, it's totally ridiculous that that's how the movie ends, that he just can do this grand gesture and make this, like, kind of creepy statement of, like, I'm never going to leave you alone so that you will be in a relationship with me. Like, that's not good. Don't do that, guys.
No. Do not, I repeat, do not show up to somebody's place of work to talk about your relationship. It is like, I cannot stand it. I was reading this Variety article about this movie, and it was a really funny article. I highly recommend, if you're interested and you've seen this movie, to read that article, because it was like a group of women who watched this movie, and like, as they're kind of watching the movie, they're like saying what they think. And at the end, they were like, he's showing up to her place of work. No. Do not.
On a horse. Like,
yeah.
You could get her fired.
Like, how embarrassing. I would be like, I don't know who this man is. Can the police, like, I would call the police. I would literally have security escort him out. I don't know this man.
Yep. So yeah, it's very silly. It's very, very fun.
Yeah.
Parts of it don't make sense. And honestly, okay, LL Cool J really does have some smooth moves in this movie. Like,
that's why ladies love him.
Yeah. If you didn't know, LL Cool J means ladies love Cool James. That's his name. James is his first name. Yeah. So, which honestly, LL Cool J, like, it rolls out the tongue so much. Like, good for him.
LL.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean, I had a great time watching this movie. You know, it's not the greatest movie ever, and it's got some problematic stuff from time to time, but what rom-com in 2003 didn't, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. There are two hairdresser characters in this movie that are just great. Like, all of the women, when they're hanging out at the hairdresser, and one of them is this woman, the other one is a gay man. But then when we find out, like, after the credits roll, we find out that the man is not even gay. Like, he's pretending to be a gay hairdresser so that he can get a job. It's like he's like a straight hairdresser in LA is a broke hairdresser or something like that. He says that. So it's kind of this like
I was like, what was the reason for that?
Yeah, well, yeah, no reason, but it was I thought it was funny that it was after the credits and you had never seen it, and it's like, oh, this like specific plot point just like totally got it switched over on its head.
Yeah, it's so silly,
but very unnecessary. But like, yeah, I also kind of feel like the three sisters in this movie are very underdeveloped, and the three men just kind of suck. Like, I mean, they're kind of portrayed like they're the main characters at the beginning of the movie until LL Cool J, and like the focus just completely switches to LL Cool J and Gabrielle Union. So, yeah, no, I mean, fun pick. I enjoyed it.
Nice. Glad you liked it.
Yeah. What kind of facts we got on this movie?
Yeah, I don't have much, but
we can pull some things out of the DVD extras behind the scenes commentary that we watched, because you own this on DVD.
That's like, so for like the past, when we did our Adam Sandler movie marathon, I was like, I think I have all the DVDs for these movies that we want to watch, and I had 3 out of 4 of them, and then we were gonna watch this movie, and you were like, you said something, you were like, unless you happen to have it on DVD. And I was like, I think I do. Yeah. And I went and found it, and I did. You had like so many DVDs.
It was a sealed DVD.
Yeah, I hadn't even opened it.
I had to break it open.
Yeah. Yeah. There was another movie after the Adam Sandler marathon that we wanted to watch, and I had the DVD. I feel like. Yeah, I have quite the collection.
Yeah, quite the collection.
Quite the collection. So anyway, facts. So this movie is actually based on a William Shakespeare play called Taming of the Shrew, and quite a few movies have kind of adapted this play and done their own versions of it, loosely based on the play. But I did read up on the play because I was like, well, what's this play about? And it's basically about a group of suitors who are interested in marrying this woman, but they're told that they can't until her unlikable older sister gets married. And so one of the suitors' friends says, like, I'm looking for someone to marry. I'll marry anyone. And he marries this unlikable older sister and basically, like, makes her obedient, tries all these, like, different tactics to make her the perfect wife for him. And he succeeds. So it's pretty much this movie. But yeah, weird. Interestingly, one of the other movies that is based on this play or loosely adapted from this play is 10 Things I Hate About You, which Gabrielle Union was also in.
Yes. Okay. Yes. That I was thinking, like, what movie do I know that sounds just like, and yeah, no, that's literally 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah. So yeah, this movie was really Gabrielle Union's first lead role, if you don't count Bring It On, because I mean, technically Kirsten Dunst is the lead in Bring It On.
Fair. But,
you know, Gabrielle Union has quite a bit of screen time in Bring It On, so depends on how you want to define it. And okay, so this is the last thing I have to say, but it's kind of just a funny note. So one thing that drives me nuts about LL Cool J in movies is he always licks his lips when he's trying to be sexy.
Literally, as you were talking about it,
he did it like 10 times.
It's the lip licking. Yep.
He did it like 10 times in 1 minute, I swear. Yep. And so going back to this Variety article I was reading about, I was reading through it, and there's one of whoever like wrote the article there was a line in their writing that said, then LL Cool J did that thing he does with his lips, and well, it was a wrap. I just thought that was really funny.
That's funny.
I'm like, I'm glad I'm not the only one who like just can't overlook him licking his lips over and over. I'm like, stop doing it.
Like, you could just see it in your head.
Exactly. I'm like, how does he even manage to get words out when he's busy licking his lips?
I'm sure you could type in LL Cool J licking lips GIF and get like 13 different results.
I want to see a compilation video of every movie in which he licks his lips. Because I'm sure he did it in The Last Holiday. He did do it in The Last Holiday when she was like fantasizing about him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Did he do it? That shark movie he was in? I wonder if he has a moment in there where he licks his lips.
Is that The Abyss or Deep Blue Sea?
Deep Blue Sea, I think.
Deep Blue Sea, yeah.
So, does he lick his lips in there?
I don't know, but I'd be down to watch some LL Cool J movies. I'm kind of thinking, you know?
Yeah, I love a good LL Cool J movie. They're fun.
Yeah,
They're a lot of fun. But yeah, that's really all that I have for this movie. There wasn't much to find.
Nice.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, shall we go ahead and move on to the assignments for this coming week?
Let's do it.
All right. So, who wants to go first?
Wait, before we start with that, I do want to point out, we talked about A24 movies that came out.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say in 2023.
Let's hit that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Iron Claw was one of those.
Oh.
The Zone of Interest.
Yep.
Beau is Afraid is one of those.
Oh,
Priscilla
yes, it was.
is one of those. Past Lives is one of those. And there's a few other ones, but those are kind of like the ones that we're familiar with.
Was Poor Things A24?
Let me check. It wasn't on this
I
2023.
guess it wasn't. I mean, Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yeah.
He's been a director like long time, so
I don't think it was.
he probably it probably wasn't.
Yeah.
Or at least it wouldn't be surprising if it wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Dang, Zone of
That's
Interest.
a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like Maestro. So I watched Maestro. Got my review written for it. I feel like Maestro was maybe more entertaining to watch than Zone of Interest. But the Zone of Interest, I think, was a better movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I'd give them like both the same score. Mm-hmm. But anyway.
Gotcha.
Not relevant. Let's move on to
assignments.
next week's assignments.
Are you going first?
Sure, I'll do it. So I mentioned this movie as something that I wanted to assign a few weeks ago, but you had me change it up to not assign it the following week after I didn't assign it. So I'm going to assign it now because I've been waiting to watch this movie for a long time, which is a movie called Hard Boiled. It's a John Woo film.
Okay.
Made in like 1993. It stars Chow Yun-fat, who we recently saw in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's an amazing action film.
Awesome. Dope. All right. I want to give you a choice.
Okay.
Would you like an A24 film that you have not seen?
Really? Ooh.
Yes. Or would you like an animated film?
An animated film.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. When did this animated film come out? Is it 2D? Is it hand-drawn or is it 3D?
It is
computer animated, I should say. You don't know?
Hand-drawn, I guess. I don't know. It's not like 3D animation.
Okay, so that would be hand-drawn then.
Yeah.
Like a Snow White, Cinderella versus Frozen,
Right. I mean, it's not as old as those.
Well, yeah. I mean, like Hercules,
Yeah. Hand-drawn then.
Hand-drawn?
Yeah.
And it's animated?
Yeah.
When did it come out?
I don't know. Let me look it up.
And it's good?
I mean, I love it.
What?
It's not critically acclaimed.
And the other one's an A24 movie?
Yeah.
We should probably do the A24 movie just because it got like this action movie. I feel like it might be weird with like an action movie and some random animated movie. Because I want to actually give you, after this, I want to give you an animated movie. So let's hold that for then.
Okay. The anime movie came out in 2005.
Gotcha. Yeah, hold that.
Okay.
Because I'm going to give you one next week.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so what's the A24 movie?
Mid-90s. It's a skateboarding movie.
Oh.
Well,
it's not called.
yeah.
It's not called
mid-90s.
Is it called mid-90s or mid-90?
Mid-90s.
Or no,
it might be mid-90s.
or is it kid 90s? Kid
No,
90.
that's a different.
We've done an episode on Kid 90.
That's a different. That's like a documentary.
So this is probably mid-90s.
Mid-90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Directed by Jonah Hill, right?
Right.
With the kid that plays Atreus from God of War, right?
Yes.
Cool. Looking forward to that. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. Well, that tonally also doesn't fit my movie, but all right. Fun. Well, okay. All right. So next week we're going to do mid-90s.
Mid-90s.
It's hard. It's confusing. Okay. Next week we're going to do mid-90s and Hard Boiled. Look forward to it. That'll be fun. And we'll catch you next time. Have a great week, and we'll see you in March.
Bye.
Bye.